Hello, hello, hello. Today we're gonna make the perfect Malayali sausage. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, today we're gonna make the perfect Malayali sausage. Now, how do you make a perfect Malayali sausage? Have you ever thought about it? 5 basic ingredients, 5 of them. Very simple, very basic, literally everything that a Malayali has. A Malayali sausage, I mean. Perversion, judgment, misogyny, patriarchy, and ego. These 5 things will complete you. These 5 things will make you the perfect Malayali sausage. Now, how does a perfect Malayali sausage grow up? Let's look at the case. I'm a Malayali myself, so I can speak about it. Now, when I was growing up, to discuss sex at home was taboo. I think it still is. All around India, it doesn't have to be a Malayali household. Because we are the most populous country in the world, yet we do not talk about sex at home. That's how it is, because your homes are built on patriarchy. Your homes are built on misogyny. Because when your dad ridicules your mom's food, you're in approval of it. She's in approval of it. She's come from a patriarchal household. That's why it's absolutely cool. That's why in Malayalam movies they tell you, "Ninakonnum ammayum pengalum ille." That's the most ridiculous statement ever. I mean, what does it make? What difference does it make? "Ninakonnum ammayum pengalum ille." If they are in approval of patriarchy, you're the same. You're the chip of the old block, another brick in the wall. That's what you are. So I find it very ridiculous. And even in terms of growing up, when a boy grows up, he sees things in his body, changes in his body. There is nowhere to go and ask. At that time, we were from the pre-internet era. There is no Naughty America. There's no Mallu Auntie porn. There's no other resources we have, to clear. I don't think there was Shakila movies at that time as well. So, because of Malayali's appreciation for beauty is curvy on the outside, and on the inside, he wants his wife to be fit. That's what it's all about. So, well, let's get there. When I was growing up, there's an instance. I went to the chemist before I attained puberty, or maybe I was 13, 12 maybe. At that time, one of my batchmates, let's change your name to Neetu. So Neetu is standing there at the chemist, and there's this chemist Chetan. She's gone to buy sanitary napkins, of course. I mean, we don't know what it is. It is always a bread loaf wrapped in newspaper. And the guy there, the chemist there, he stands there and he's like, "Molke medium madhyao." Literally the whole neighborhood gets to know that she's using medium. Now I go to the school, to the class, and there is this dude in the class who knows everything about sex. He's the guru. You literally have one guru in classes. So the guru will tell you, "Man, this comes in packages. Like, girls have packages, small for virgins, medium for a few here and there, and large for the pros." Wow. Now, I didn't know exactly what it was until I had my first girlfriend, and she would tell me, "You can't do it now, Anil, because it's, my dates, my..." So I was like, okay, wow. So it affected me. So as a man, it affected me that she was going through menstruation. She was going through her period. So that's when, as a man, I got to know that this is important. Because otherwise I would not know, because I'm not a woman. To be understanding it, you need to be a woman. Otherwise, you will not get it. You will just read about it, like how you read about reproductive systems in the 9th standard. By the 9th grade, you get to know about reproductive systems. But still, you get to know only theoretically what it is. You don't know what it is. You ask your teacher, and she also doesn't have a clear answer. I had only the Encyclopedia Britannica, and it also approves of the same thing. So you literally don't find out what it is. And if you look back at Malayalam movies, it's 2 flowers actually going and kissing each other. There's a bee coming and drinking nectar. There is an overflowing tap. There is like a pipe that is slowly, flowing. So all these things are the ones that they depict sex in movies. It's not just Malayalam movies. I mean, literally every movie from that period would show the same thing. And it changed later to item songs and all those. I mean, that's what people like to see. They want to see all that. That's why. They just don't like to talk about it. That's the whole point. They don't talk about it, but they like to do it. They like to see it, because I got a brother when I was 14 years old. I mean, I moved out of my parents' room when I was 13. So it's exactly after 1 year. So I was curious. I wanted to find out how. And they said, they did not have an answer. They was like, okay, we just called out a star, because after we called out you from the sky, we wanted, after 14 years, to call a star. Fine, it's again my problem because I was sleeping with them. They did not have a kid until I was 14. So, but I figured out later. Now, let's get back to the point. A Malayali's perversion never ends. And I was obese kid. I was an obese kid. I was a Tadian, a Shima Panni, a Beepa Kuti. That's what they use. I don't know what they were. Good for nothing is also another thing I heard. But not my teachers, none of my schoolmates would say that because I was good in studies, academics, and my arts, my extracurriculars. So I was okay, but I think it doesn't affect that way to others. Maybe the other fat kids in my school would feel lonely, depressed, and go home and be really, really isolated from the society. Well, it's all right. It's normal to be a Malayali at that time. So you Malayalis definitely are being nice. They're doing a favor by actually serving food to fat people. That's what it's all about. But when I actually reduced much of my weight, there's an uncle who came to my house and he actually told me, "Inipa moni kattalo." So I was like, at that time I was like in the habit of roasting people. I was not bothered. I was grown up at the time. I was already in my 30s. So I was like, "Alla ചേട്ടൻ എന്തായി പറയണേ? ഇനിയിപ്പോൾ കെട്ടാലോ? അപ്പോൾ നേരത്തെ കെട്ടിയിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ ചേട്ടനെ വിളിക്കേണ്ടി വരുമോ?" Chetan was like, and my dad is like, how dare you talk to him like that? It's like, who gives a damn? Who gives a damn? Who is he to talk to me like that? Who does he think he is? The same way, today we have cyber bullies, or they call themselves cyber bullies. അത്രയും വലിയ ടേം ഒക്കെ വേണോ ഇതുപോലത്തെ കോളനി വാണങ്ങളൊക്കെ? To refer to colony വാണംസ്, why do you need a term like cyber bullies? They're not even close to that. Colony varnams basically don't have a life. They're useless. They're not worth a dime. It's absolutely ridiculous to give them a term called cyber bullies, So I call them colony varnams. Colony varnams, sorry. Colony varnams because, for a matter of fact, what's a colony varnam? He doesn't have to be underprivileged or from a lower strata of the society or things like that. He's just a colony varnam even if he's educated. Every Malayali sausage can be a colony varnam today. Maybe a week ago, I saw a lot of comments about this incident that happened in America. A girl was stabbed so many times, and then they go into judging her. They've already written her obituary. They've written a story. It's like that whole... You've seen this movie called Akkare Akkare Akkare. Since we Malayalis like to see Malayalam movies and use the Malayalam dialogues, Akkare 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 probably was in the 1990s, I guess, when I was growing up. In that, there is a scene when Malayali Raju and Mukesh, they steal from Soman's briefcase, and then they see the ID card. The ID card that Soman is a commissioner of police, and he's come there with wigs. And they, it's funny. The whole segment, Malayali Raju is making a story, seeing his ID card, saying that, ഇവൻ്റെ ഭാര്യ ധാരാളിയായിരിക്കും, അവക്ക് ക്ലബ്ബിൽ പോകാനും ചെറുപ്പക്കാരുടെ കെട്ടിമറിയാനും ഇവൻ്റെ പൈസ തികയുണ്ടാവില്ല, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇവൻ വിഗ് വെച്ചോടത്തിന് ഇറങ്ങിയത്. Come on, just imagine. That's the power of the Malayali. And Mukesh says, correct. Exactly. That simplifies, that summarizes the whole Malayali sausage idea. You make stories. Now, recently, I had interviewed Bhagya Lakshmi, who is a Malayali pride right now. Maharani Jin, you must have shared it on WhatsApp. You would have seen a lot of Malayalis sharing her story and all that stuff. But in addition to all that, when I interviewed her, I had to turn off the comments because of these colony varnams who are writing on our feed a lot of things, like dirty things. Nee saayipine ketti valya aalai, alle neekke vaatyan nadakkaanu. That's the double standard of a Malayali. That's the double standard of a Malayali sausage. Just imagine. There is, a lot of shares about the Maharani Jin, and then there is all this slut shaming and all that bashing that Bhagya has to go through. Now, why? Who are these people? Who are they? One guy called Soman. Obviously. One guy called Soman just comments, നീയൊക്കെ സായിപ്പിനെ കെട്ടി വലിയ ആളായി, നീ ഒരു പണക്കാരൻ സായിപ്പിനെ കെട്ടി. What is his problem? He doesn't want to approve of women coming up in the society. He doesn't want to accept the fact that she did not marry a Malayali. She married a white person, a Caucasian. Why is it so wrong? The same Malayali thinks a Caucasian girl is so easy. The same Malayali thinks that the white girl is so easy. I have seen instances of Malayalis putting DMs to all the bloody girls that they can Or not just Malayali, every Indian actually sends a DM to the girls who are flashing their dicks and things like that. Ridiculous. What do you expect? Women are, what do you expect? And how do you see your women? I mean, like, I have no idea. What are the mindset of these kind of people? They're sick. Their mentality is sick. These kind of somans who write on other people's wall when the only thing that they want is to poke nose into others' business and also degrade them, downgrade them, show them down. Because a Malayali likes to show another Malayali down. That's what this is all about. When she's doing well, when she's come up in her life with her own hard work, she's an IT professional who's been there even before she met Robert, her husband right now, or her partner, who is doing business with her. It's got nothing to do with she going there and, just finding things out of the blue. I mean, like, regardless of anybody's story, why do you create such stories? What is the Malayali mindset? What is the Malayali sausage? Judgment. I was talking about judgment. This is judgment. This is how you judge people. But you know what? I'm not going to bow down to it. Or neither should any woman bow down to such judgment. You should fight. You should retract. You should actually, rebel against it. We're from the same place where Nangeli's story happened. It's there in the Maharani Jain. The breast tax. When she rebelled against it, she chopped off her breast. That's like centuries ago. 1 century ago at least. And now we are in 2020 and we still have such idiots, such jokers, such clowns who are worthless, who are commenting on our feed. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's what the Malayali sausage is all about. A Malayali sausage cannot accept, one, a woman coming up in life. And the other thing is, they're damn homophobic. Let me tell you an instance from my house. Now, I am a food writer, I cook myself and things like that. But initially when I was growing up, my mom would tell me, don't get in the kitchen, it's not for boys. Now, you already feed in my mind that it's not for boys. Now, what are things for boys? My dad would do a barbecue. Dad would do a barbecue with his friends. He would ask me to help him. So I would get to be, doing all these things like, grilling and stuff. But, he told me it's so gay to get into the kitchen. I mean, there's nothing more gay according to his definition to be doing a barbecue. I mean, so gay. It's like 4 or 5 sausages standing next to a grill and grilling sausages. I mean, how much more gayer can it be? So that's the whole point, homophobia. You instill the same thing when you're young. So you are like, your mind is so narrow by the time you are growing out of a Malayali household. By the time you grow out of a Malayali household, you're already misogynistic. You're already having traces of patriarchy in you. You're very feudal in the way you treat your housemaids and your helps at home. And you are, obviously, the only thing that you have as an excuse is that you are the most literate state, which you overuse, and the fact that you can eat beef or what you want because you have the freedom to do so. Yes, you do have a freedom to do so. But a Malayali should not be just nostalgic about beef and parota. It's not what it's all about. There's also the other kind of food that's there to be appreciated. It doesn't mean that beef and parota is no less, but still, there's more. You need to be appreciative about it. It's the same thing as you need to be concerned about what others are doing, not poke nose into their businesses. That's why a Malayali sausage is very unique. And you need all of this to make. All of this. Perversion, judgment, very common, inborn. You have misogyny, patriarchy, and ego. If you have all of this, you become the perfect Malayali sausage. Now, how do you grow out of it? Think about it. What are you growing your kids to be like? Malayali sausages? I don't know. If you want to add more to the Malayali sausage clan. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. You know what? Today is 2020. We're all going through this pandemic and we're all trying to stay home and stay safe. In this time, if you're taking to social media because you are an idiot and going around and bringing people down because of the fact that you are a sore loser, you're sick, you need to get yourself treated. For the rest of you all, stay safe, stay home,